to Libib's booktube channel. My name is Kayla and welcome back for another bookish video. Today I am so excited. You want to know why? I got all dressed up formal because I have formally read like more than 2 books a month this past month. So I'm just super excited to be talking today about my June wrap up. And so for the month of June, I ended up reading a total of 4 books. I'm still 4 behind currently. As July, I'm still 4 books behind my yearly reading goal. So a little bit embarrassing. I thought I got caught up, but I ended up did not. First up, this will probably be very short because I just read a bunch of comics and a graphic novel comic thing. So the first book that I'm going to be talking about is Moon Cop, which is by Tom Gould. And I loved this book. I bought this kind of on a whim and I didn't know anything going into it besides a cop on the moon. And so essentially in this book, we have our main character, this little moon cop walking around, and everyone else is leaving the moon to go back to the earth. So he essentially has like nobody to look after, like anyone committing crimes or anything like that. There's some funny hijinks, but at the end of the story, when I read it, I just felt like happy, but then I also felt like this incredibly sad sense of loneliness because at the end of the day, it's just him on the moon. And it was like really sad. I was just like reading it in my car during my lunch break and I was like, oh, this is good. And then it's like, oh, it's really sad. And so yeah, it's only 94 pages. You know, it ends on a good sad note. Very lonely. I ended up rating this book 4 out of 5 stars. I loved the art style. The overall message was just like funny going into it, like a cop on the moon. And then once everyone dissipates, it's just like, oh, this is sad. So I loved it. Yeah, it made me sad. So 4 out of 5 stars. But I ended up reading the next 3. I'm just gonna hold this up because they're all falling in my lap. But I ended up reading the next 3 volumes of Saga, which I have since slowed down, but I'm gonna try to pick up. I started reading more when I was on vacation last week, and that was like a nightmare because I'm sitting there reading, and all these people are sitting around for breakfast, and I'm like, yikes. Please don't ask me what I'm reading about, or please don't come over and view me or view what I'm reading because of things. So anyhow, the first volume that I read was volume 4 of Saga. This is also by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, and this one received a 4 out of 5 stars. This book is about, well, this series is about our main characters, Alana and Marco. They're from different sides of the war and they're opposing and they hate each other, and they ended up reproducing, having a baby, and everyone is like out to kill the baby. This installment has a lot to do with Alana just trying to get back in, making life feel normal. So she's working for some TV production crew and ends up getting into the line of drugs, and it's kind of like sad to see how that kind of ends up and like weaving into her family and drifting her family apart. So 4 out of 5 stars. Was not my favorite of the series, but still relatively enjoyed it. Next up is volume 5 of Saga, and we have a bunch of other stuff that happens. We have this kind of like, not necessarily cheating scandal thing that goes on, and then at the end there is a huge cliffhanger. I ended up reading this 3 out of 5 stars. Definitely was not my favorite of the installment, but I still enjoyed it. It was just an average read for me. And last but not least, I ended up reading volume 6 of Saga, which has a huge time jump compared to the last novel. So our family is completely drifted apart, separated, and I'm just like, ah, like what's happening next? We go on this journey to find Hazel and reunite her with her parents, Marco and Elena, and it's just, oof. Ended up rating this also 3 out of 5 stars. Still was not my favorite. I think my favorite out of the entire series still is volume number 3. I still think that is my favorite hands down. So anyways, I ended up reading more of Saga, which I am still loving and enjoying. I just finished up volume 7 and I am on volume 8 right now. I'm in the middle of that. That got interesting, like to read that at Sunday morning breakfast. So I'm still reading the Saga series, which I'm loving and enjoying this summer. This was the summer read that I needed. And then I also have read Moon Cop for a total of 4 books with a theme of blue and black covers. So anywho, what did you read for the month of June? Let me know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you next time for a new bookish video.